On today's episode of Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast, we're going to be talking about the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. Hi, I'm Karen Cooper, a wife, mom of three, real estate broker, team owner, and founder of Empowering Women in Real Estate. As a realtor, I've personally helped well over 700 families in my career, and now I help thousands of women from all across the country balance real life and real estate through daily inspiration, motivation, and actionable plans to increase their success. Listen in as I share stories and tips from my life and business and interview some of my favorite people. Hi there. I'm so glad you're here for today's episode. Today is something a little different. I'm going to be sharing with you something that I have never done before. I've done other courses. Of course, we have a group coaching program with our Empowering Women in Real Estate Inner Circle, but I've never done a program like this before. And what I'm talking about is something new, which has just launched, and it's called the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. And this program is really, it's really similar to, I've done a lot of different high-level coaching programs with lots of different people on lots of different topics. And this is really kind of more in line with some of those programs that I've done. And I've never done anything really specifically like this before. And so because it is so new and because it is so different, I thought it deserved its own podcast episode so I could tell you about it and talk through all the details. And, I've been talking about midlife real estate for a couple of months now. And it's really been, I did an episode earlier kind of talking about it. It's really been something that has been on my mind for quite a while. And I've been feeling it for a couple of years, really. And it's only been somewhat recently that I've been able to kind of label it and put words to how I have felt in this industry. I've been in the real estate industry now for 23 years. I am 52 years old. I've been very successful in my career. I've had a lot of different arms and pillars and roles in my business. I started out on a traditional Rainmaker team. I have been a solo agent. I have been a managing broker. I've now been a team leader for more than 10 years. We've now expanded our team for the last, year and a half. We have now started to expand our team nationally in a way that really kind of looks completely different. And I've done a lot of things. Of course, you have this podcast. I wrote a book. Our Empowering Women in Real Estate community, I started 11 years ago, and it has really been like the passion project of my life, really. It kind of summarizes all the things that are important to me, and it's where I get to do all of the things that really I feel like most align with me, and that has opened up, of course, a lot of other opportunities. And one of them, of course, being now this opportunity here with this course. And I don't know of any other courses or programs that exist specifically for women who are in midlife in real estate. And when I say midlife real estate, I mean, what I am thinking about, what I kind of envision when I say this is the woman who is in midlife, right? You're maybe mid to late 40s, 50s, 60s and up. Somebody who has been in real estate for a long time. This is typically going to be, your agent who has been in business for at least a decade, if not 2 or 3. And then also, the woman who's had a lot of success in her business. I've had a lot of success in my business. In my individual sales years, when I was personally serving clients, I averaged serving 50 to 60 families every single year by myself. That was what I did personally. Since my team started, over 10 years ago, we have now, we're on the countdown to 2 billion in real estate sales volume sold. We do a lot of business, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have been able to build businesses like this. I've been out of personal service of clients for just about 6 years now. And yet I'm still producing myself from my prospecting that I do every week, 15 to 20 million or more on average every year, not leads that I buy, but leads that I generate through my own system that are closed by my team members. And, it's a blessing to have this. It's a blessing to be able to have a business like this. But also, I think I think all of us know, if you're listening to this episode, I'm presuming that you are a woman in the real estate industry, no matter where you are in your phase of your career. And you probably have figured out that it's hard. It's really, really freaking hard. It's hard. It's demanding. It's exhausting. It's wonderful. It's exhilarating. When you win and you earn that listing, or you ratify that contract, or, that first time home buyer that, never thought they would own a home, and now you've helped them to purchase a home. Like, there's so many beautiful, when I think back over my career and all the families that I helped, like, there's so many beautiful memories and experiences. And that is all true, but it's also true that it's very hard. And it's also true that it's really challenging. And it's also hard that it can suck the life out of you. And I think especially when we get to this point in our life, right? When we get to this midlife point, there are often a lot of other factors at play in our life. When I think about my 40s were dominated by my own health struggles, some, 10 surgeries, 30 radiation treatments, lots of things that happened, and caring for aging parents that both passed away, my mother-in-law, who was sick for a long time and going through dementia and all of the things that happened there, and she passed away, helping my father-in-law to move. There were so many things that were happening that were just big, huge, momentous experiences that we all go through in one way in our life. And of course, while at the same time having, 3 kids at home and running very big businesses. So that's not an uncommon experience for a lot of us in midlife. We go through those phases where, not only are you running your successful business and, maybe you have children at home, but you also have these other things happening. And it's a lot, and it changes you, and it changes your perspective, and it's just demanding. And so I think when we get to this phase of our life, a couple of things happen as it relates to our business. And one of them is something really has to change, because we really can't keep doing it the way we used to do it. It can almost become impossible to keep up the same pace that we used to have when you have all of these other things happening in your life. You can feel like you don't want to. You're not interested in keeping up the same pace. I know that was me. I mean, I got to a certain point and I was like, gosh, I'm just not interested in this pace anymore. I don't want to leave the industry. I love the industry. I've been in this business for 23 years. There's a lot of different ways to have a real estate business that doesn't necessarily have to look like you yourself personally going and opening every single door. So I think that's a common feeling that a lot of us have when we get to this point in life. And then as you continue to go on, I know plenty of agents that are 50s, 60s, 70s, and they enjoy selling, some houses here and there, but they also have other things that they enjoy in their life, grandchildren, travel, other hobbies, other interests. And really what I have come to find, I've come to feel this for myself, and I have come to find this through so many conversations with so many women over the past couple of years, especially, is we get to this point, this tension point in our business in midlife where the path forward is not clear. And we've been so conditioned by the industry to believe that the only way to do it is we just got to keep hustling, and we just got to keep selling houses, or you're going to have to open your own brokerage, which, that's even harder, or you're going to have to open your own team. That's even harder. And so there's no path forward for those of us who still want to honor our love of the industry and continue making an income, but maybe don't want to do quite as much of it, or maybe want to do it in a different way. I mean, I've told the story on here a couple of times. I was talking to an agent about a year ago, and she has a very successful business, and she's been in business for 30 years. And, she's kind of reaching that point where she's starting to think about, like, what's next, and wanting to kind of maybe slow down or work in a different way. And she said, I guess when I'm done, I'll just quit. And that's so heartbreaking, really, to think about it. You build a business for 3 decades and you're just going to walk away. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. There are so many other options. I am living proof of the options. I don't serve clients myself anymore. I still produce a lot of business. I still have a very nice income that comes in every year from doing my prospecting, from generating the business, and then referring it out to my agent partners to serve that business. I don't go on appointments. I don't show houses. I don't write contracts. I don't negotiate. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. And I haven't done it for almost 6 years. I mean, not just one time, not just 1 year, but year after year after year. And so I figured it out. And although I hate to say I figured it out, because I feel like I'm always figuring it out. There was something that one of our support team members, we were messaging about something recently, and she said, continuous improvement is our superpower. And I just love that, because I really feel that. I feel like I figured out a lot of things in my business and how to go into this next season. And I am moving into this next season. I am solidly in this next season. And in doing so, continuously improving. And I think that's such a beautiful thought. And I think that's something that a lot of us want to strive for, because we're never just, done. It's a constant process of, life is constant. We're constantly growing. Life is constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. And so being in pursuit of that continuous improvement is really just kind of a beautiful thing. So that's a really long story, but that's kind of how this has come about with the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. I don't know. I wish, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever, when I was really starting to shift in my business, I wish that there was a blueprint for me, and that there was somebody that I could go to and say, hey, this is what I want to do. How do I do it? Of course, your broker's not going to do that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine going to your broker and saying, hey, I don't want to sell as many houses. I want to stay in the business. I want to continue to produce income based on what I have, this business that I've built, but I want to serve less of them myself. I can't imagine they're going to be super excited about that, right? Or really have any great solutions for you. And so, as I have done, throughout my life, my career, I can think of a lot of examples, when the thing that you need doesn't exist, you create it yourself. And so that's what I've done. This is the course. This is the blueprint. This is the knowledge. This is the wisdom that I wish I had 6 years ago. And so now I have it for you. So what is this? The Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. It is a 6-week live experience. I've never done a specific time frame live coaching program like this before. And really who I think this is ideal for is it's for high producing women who you're probably, mid to late 40s, 50s plus in real estate. And you are kind of at that point where you're ready to, or whether you're ready to start right now, or you're starting to think ahead to starting to kind of pivot or shift in your business or do something a little different in your business. You don't want to leave the industry. You want to stay in this industry that you love. You want to continue to leverage all of these years that you have been building and creating and what you have done in your business, but curate something in your business where it's no longer dominating your life. It is supporting your life. And you're building something really lasting, really on your terms. If you are that woman in real estate that is, mid to late 40s, 50 plus, I would say this is probably most ideally suited for the woman who's doing at least 7 million or more per year in sales volume. From an average perspective, I think, and that'll make more sense as I talk about some of the things I'm going to share through this course. I think you need some stability, you need some consistency existing in your business in order for this to really work for you. You are somebody who really feels called to evolve your business model and evolve how you're working in a different way. You want to serve fewer clients personally. Maybe like me, you want to stop serving clients altogether, or maybe you just want to serve fewer. Maybe you just want to focus on a certain area. Maybe you only want to do certain types of transactions. You're somebody who wants more freedom. You want more freedom for family, whether it's caring for family members or spending time with family, for travel, for impact in your life, for enjoying hobbies, maybe doing volunteer work. I have always been somebody who has really served my community a lot. Throughout my 20s, I volunteered so much. In so many different areas, in so many parts of our community. And once kids came along and the real estate career came along, all of that had to go on a shelf because there's only so much time. And I look forward to bringing that back down off the shelf again. And maybe that's you too. This is also really ideal for somebody who is ready to, maybe lead, mentor, or influence other women in the real estate industry, right? Who are coming up in a different way, in new ways. And so that's really who this course is for. And so what is it? We're going to have 5 sessions. We're going to meet live every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting on Thursday, September 4th, and going to Thursday, October 2nd. So there's 5 sessions that are live. All of them will be recorded, so there will be replays. So if you are not able to, and I hope that you will, and that you'll plan to, and you'll be able to schedule around it, but if ideally you're going to be able to join us live for each of those sessions. But even if you can't join us live, we will record them and you will have access to those replays. Those sessions are going to be around 60 to 90 minutes each. I'm encouraging everybody to block 90 minutes for those sessions, because I think that as we get into the material and as we start having those collaborative conversations, I think that we probably have the potential for going a little long. So I want you to plan for 90 minutes. And here's what we're going to be going over. So for those 5 weeks of the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint, here's our course outline of what we're going to be talking about. So week 1, we're calling Reimagine Your Role. And so during that first session on week 1, I'm going to be sharing with you my story, and I'm going to be sharing with you my shift from serving clients myself. We're going to be talking about redefining what success looks like for you in midlife. I'm really clear in what that looks like for me, but your definition of that might be different. And so we're going to redefine that and start thinking about, what does that look like for you? There'll be homework, of course. What do you want from that? What is that success for you? We're going to be talking about what to keep and what to let go of, thinking about all of the things that you're responsible for right now in your business, all the different things that you do, kind of take off the blinders, the handcuffs, the whatever of I have to do it this way, and just kind of think openly of all the things that you do. What are the things that you want to keep? What do you love? What do you want to keep doing? What are the things that you don't love that you want to let go of? We'll figure out later how to make that happen, but what are those things? And then we're going to be doing some vision casting. This is also part of where the homework is going to come in, but doing a little bit of vision casting of what do you want in this season, right? Where you are right now, what do you want? What do you envision? Whether it's today or 5 years from now, what do you see? What do you want that to look like? I think the more clear you can be, and it doesn't have to be a crystal clear picture. I've shared before, I really struggle setting goals beyond a year, because beyond that feels too fuzzy for me. But a year feels really good. But I kind of have a little idea behind that, kind of beyond that. But it's not crystal clear. It doesn't have to be crystal clear, but just having some kind of ideas, starting to play with some concepts, starting to play with some thoughts of what that will look like for you. So that's week 1. Week 2, we're going to be talking all about produce without the pressure. And so this is where I'm going to get really specific with you on exactly what I have done to keep the sales volume, keep the income, but without doing it all myself, without serving the clients myself. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, not only really step-by-step of how I've done it, but also how you can do the same thing by leveraging your reputation, your referral network. Think about all the people, the relationships that you have built, all the agents that you have worked with over the course of your career, and leveraging that. Tickets are now available for our 5th annual Empowering Women in Real Estate Conference. Every year, hundreds of women from all across the country gather for a day full of inspiration, motivation, connection, and learning. I know you're going to walk away from this event feeling excited, rejuvenated, and ready to move forward in your business. Our event is on October 7th in Ashburn, Virginia. You can get all of the details on our website. Go to empoweringwomeninrealestate.com and click on the conference. We're going to be talking about what not to waste your time on anymore, kind of building on week 1 where we talk about what to keep and what to let go of, but what is not worthy of your time anymore in this season, and getting clear on that. And then talking about the structure of a non-client facing real estate business where you're not serving the client anymore. And what does that look like? And what is the structure? And again, I'm going to get really detailed and really, really specific with you on how I have done it. I've been doing this now for 6 years, and it's evolved. What I've done over the past 6 years, it's definitely been, I call it like a phased approach. There've been different things that I did this for a little while, and then we kind of moved into this for a little while, and then we did this for a little while, and to get to here. And I think that's just the same, kind of going back to what I shared earlier, continuous improvement is our superpower, right? And so learning, shifting, doing, learning, shifting. And so we're going to get really clear on that and what that structure has been like for me and what that structure could look like for you. That's week 2. Week 3 is going to be all about prospecting that fits your life. And this is the hill that I will die on. And that is that you have to keep up the prospecting in your business. And this is why I really do feel like this program, this course is really most specifically geared for the agent who already is seeing some consistent success in their business. You probably already have some sort of a prospecting habit because you are producing some consistent business. If you are not yet at that point where you're consistently producing, 5 to 7 million in sales volume every year, then you may not be here yet and you may have some work to do. Now, this course could still be for you. You could take the lessons from here, use this to help you to build up to that, 5 to 7 plus million in volume every year, and then start working into the next phase. But I really do believe that you need to have that. And so in week 3, it's going to be all about the prospecting. And again, you've probably heard me talk about this a million times about prospecting and about what that looks like and how it needs to be really authentic to you. And it doesn't need to be hateful. It doesn't need to be something that you despise. Not that I get up on Monday morning and I'm like thrilled to do my prospecting, but it's a habit. I'm doing things that align with me. I'm doing things that are authentic with me. And so therefore I'm able to do it. I'm able to do it so consistently. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about developing systems, not only for your prospecting, but also for nurturing, because you need to have both. You have to have 2 systems. Part of my system is that I've got my proactive prospecting that I do every week. And then I have my nurture system. And those aren't necessarily things that I'm doing every week. It might be something that happens once a month or once a quarter, but that's all part of it. That's all part of the puzzle. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about establishing your daily business builders. That is my kinder, gentler form of prospecting. It changed my business when I really figured this out and I really dove in and committed and went all in on this. And that was, probably 8-10 years ago. And it really changed everything. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to help you to identify those. We're going to get you really immersed in that mindset of no more hustle, right? We're saying no to the hustle, but we're going to focus on the authentic outreach that works. Get you magnetic, right? You need magnetic marketing. You need to be magnetic so that people are coming to you and you're not chasing. You need to have smart systems to keep your momentum going. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the systems that I have established that allow me to keep the momentum that I have and have kept now for 6 years. So this is not, again, not once or twice, but like for 6 years, keeping that going, and how you can really make that fit your life. I have really built this now in such a way with my personal sales business that I can live anywhere and keep my business going. I could be multiple states away. I could be hundreds of miles away from where my business is operating, and I could be still operating my business in the way that I am right now and keep that volume going. And, anybody can do that. You just have to have the systems. And then also talking about marketing rhythms for a low stress, high impact pipeline, keeping your pipeline strong by having these rhythms of things that are not hard to do, that are low stress, right? No chasing, right? Magnetic is what it's all about, and establishing those rhythms. And so that's all what we're going to be talking about in week 3. And then in week 4, we are going to be talking about partners and leveraged income options, because, I've talked about, I don't serve clients anymore. I prospect, I generate a lot of business, but I'm not serving the clients anymore. Well, that means somebody's got to serve the clients, right? So how can you do that? How do you find the right people to help to carry your business forward? And when you do this right, this becomes a win-win-win, right? All the way around. It's a win for me because I am still earning income on the business that I am generating and on the relationships and the business that I have been nurturing and have established for the last 23 years. The agent that I partner with, it's a win for them because now she has a new client to work with, a commission and a transaction that's additional that she would not have had otherwise had it not been for our relationship. And she is building a relationship with that person. And so that means referrals for her. If it's a listing, which a lot of my business is, then that means opportunities for buyers. So it's a win for her because now it opens a whole nother stream into her business. And then it's a win for the client because the client is being well taken care of. They're not in that position of like, oh gosh, Karen's not in business anymore. So now I got to find somebody. I'm going to have to interview 43 agents. They don't have to do that. It's a win for them because they are working with someone who is that I trust, that they can trust, that's doing business in the same way that I do, and they can feel really confident that they're going to be really well taken care of. But there's some nuance that's required to find the right people, and it can't be just one person. This is something that I have learned. You need to have the right people, plural, in order to help you to do this and to move your business forward. We're also going to be talking about building some collaborative relationships. So things like, co-agents, we talk about like when I do my listings, it's like I'm the primary and the other agent's the alternate. And so like these co-agents that we're co-listing with or working together, support roles, team models, there are a lot of different team models that are available out there now. That's not the traditional, old school, high service, high expense teams. There's marketing team models and other things where you can come together with a group of people to really serve your business and their business really well, but without all of that other responsibility and expense. We can talk about some of those sorts of things. We'll also talk about income streams that don't require client service. There's actually a ton of options now in our industry. In the beginning, either you were an agent, you were a salesperson, you sold the house, right? You went on the appointments, you opened the doors, you wrote the contracts, you put the sign in the ground, you sold houses, or you were the broker, right? You were the brokerage owner. Those were kind of the options. Or then a while later, teams, right? You could be a team leader. Those were like the options in the industry. And that has changed. That has changed so much. There are so many options in our industry now for income streams that don't require client service. And so we'll have a little talk about that and exploring some of the different leveraged income streams, things like new agent mentorship, coaching, revenue share, leadership, digital offerings. Like, can you take your knowledge in something that you do, a system that you do, create that into, just like I'm doing here, a course, something that you share. It could be a PDF that you share. It could be a book that you write. There's so many ways to do this if you just take a minute, take a breath, step back from what you have always done and from what you have always thought you had to do, and be open to a new possibility. Because really now in the industry, there are infinite possibilities. So we're going to touch on those things. And then we're going to talk about setting up your business to serve your lifestyle. So what do you really want from your life? What do you really want from your life? Do you want to, like I had just described, do you want to be able to run your business from anywhere? You know, if you live in, what's a snowy place? If you live in Alaska and your business is in Alaska, but you want to, you know, live 3/4 of the year in sunny California, but keep operating your business from Alaska, you can actually do that. You actually can. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about specifically how you can set up your business to do that, to serve that lifestyle. That's all in week 4. And then we're going to wrap it all up. We're going to wrap it all up with week 5. And week 5 is the blueprint and beyond. So week 5 is really going to be our live Q&A. And so it'll be really, what I envision for this is that we will have interactive periods throughout every single week of the course. But week 5 will really be centered around having that kind of live Q&A and unveiling your personalized midlife real estate blueprint, you know, talking through what you've come up with, what you've found. I find that those kinds of conversations are really very powerful when you can hear. I know that stuff always helps me. You know, sometimes I get stuck. Because I can only think of it one way. I can only think of it my way, or the way my experience has been, or I can only think about it from what has been modeled to me from people in my world or in my sphere. But when I can hear or see from other people what they're doing, it's like it unlocks a new door for you, right? And so that's what I'm really envisioning for this week 5 session is, you know, hopefully the idea is you'll have your entire blueprint. Your plan is going to be all put together. But even if it's not all put together, sharing the bits and pieces of, okay, I know that this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it. And so I think when we can share and hear from each other what that plan is, that's going to be super powerful. And I think that's going to help all of us, myself included, to really continue with that. You know, what is it? The continuous improvement is our superpower. Continue that improvement of what we have planned. And so that is what we're going to be doing there in week 5. So it's a lot, as you can tell. There's a whole lot that's happening here. And so this is what that's going to look like from a pricing structure. For our very first round, you know, we're calling it our founding cohort. That's a weird word to say, right? But for our very first round, we are going to do a reduced pricing structure of $997 for the entire session. When we do release the next live session, and the vision is we'll probably be doing these live sessions maybe once a year, will be more expensive. And so for that, you're going to get, of course, access to all 5 of the live sessions, which we will have interactive Q&As as part of them. You will get full replays of every session. So if you can't be there live, if you can't watch the whole thing, if you want to go back and watch it again, you're going to have access to that. We're going to set up a private Facebook community. So we're going to have a private Facebook community called the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. We're going to keep it open. So as we continue having more women who are going through the course and going and participating in this, eventually we're going to have a self-study version, and then everybody will be able to be in that group so that you can kind of support each other. I find that to be really helpful when you have a group of people that have the same interests that you do, that are going where you're going, that are trying to do what you're doing. Having access to those people, being around those people, that is super, super powerful. And so we will have that available for you. And then of course, we will also have an optional add-on for a private 30-minute coaching call with me. There will be an additional cost for that. That is something that I have never done before. I have never, lots of people have asked, but I've never done one-on-one private coaching outside of my real estate team. And so we are going to offer that as an optional add-on where you can review your completed work. So you can take what you have done, what you have put together through the program with your personal blueprint, and then you and I will get on the phone together and we will, or probably Zoom, and we will talk through that, right? Look at what you created, poke holes in it, you know, like poking holes in it, I think can be really powerful because you can see where the tweaks are needed and you can see where something might need to be improved. And so we'll have the option to do that. So that is the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. So right now, and this is going to be limited. It's not unlimited seats. We're going to have the whole idea is that this is going to be a relatively small group, because I think sometimes when you have those smaller groups, you can have better conversations. And so that is really our vision for this program. And I'd love if you think that this is right for you, if this feels right for you, I would love to have you participate and take part. You can register. It is only open through August 30th. So you still have a few days that you can register for this very first live session of the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. And we'd love for you to do it. So if you think this is right for you, if you are ready to join us, then go over to our website, which is empoweringwomeninrealestate.com. We have a tab there now that is called the Midlife Real Estate Blueprint. And you can go there. Again, you can review a lot of what I share with you today. You can review right there. And then you can sign up to join us. And I would absolutely love to go on this journey with you. And we are starting live on Thursday, September 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you have just a couple more days to get enrolled in the program so that you can participate with us. So that's it. If you have questions about this, please message me. You can come over to Instagram. You can message me. I'm at karen.w.cooper. Message me any questions that you have. We know obviously this is an investment, and it should be an investment at this phase of your career. When you're moving into this next level, that is what is required. And so if you have any questions, I want to make sure that you're really clear on those. Let's see what else. Oh, Inner Circle members. We do have a special discount code for you. It's a 20% off discount code. You will find that has been posted in our Inner Circle private group. If you can't find it, you don't have access to it, just message me and we will make sure that you get access to that. And that's it. So I would love to work with you, whether it's in this particular session that we have coming up or in a future session next year. And until next time, stay well. Thank you for listening to Empowering Women in Real Estate, the podcast. Click subscribe to be notified every Wednesday when our latest episode is released, and be sure to check out our group on Facebook.